I think, like every student, I was annoyed at first. It was such a shock, like, especially because well, in my group we didn't have an email before, which was really unfair on the lecturer that then had to teach us. It was just that moment of, oh, I've worked so hard on this work and it's not going to be marked. So many emotions go through your head at that point because you put so much in. Like, I myself had been up editing this film until like 6 AM, colour correcting it and everything. And just the moment, I just didn't know what to say or what to do. And embarrassingly, I felt like I wanted to cry, which was stupid. But then it wasn't stupid because you put so much in. I felt angry at that point. And then I thought about it. More things started to come out. And I started to see it from a different point of view, and now I'm just really confused. And I feel like it would be better for me to find out more about it and know why. It would just be nice to know why. I decided I wanted to do some more research to understand both sides of the argument. I looked at news articles, UCU and UUK's website, as well as other resources. I've done hours of research and I feel like I can make a more educated decision on how I feel. I'm still confused, but the problem seems massive. And the problem is that UUK say that the USS scheme is in an estimated £8 billion deficit. And so to combat that, they propose lecturers and academics' pensions are based on a career average. The UCU secretary, Sally Hunt, has said that lecturers will lose thousands of pounds off their retirement. And that's huge because that's how they're going to fund their care. That's how they're going to fund looking after their children still. That's how they're going to fund how they're going to live. To find out more, I went to meet Paul Hubert, the UCU representative on campus.
So talks are carrying on in January with suspended action now.
What's currently happening is that the various parties and their actuaries are meeting together to discuss both the background to the proposed changes to the scheme and hopefully to discuss an alternative set of proposals.
Will the proposals lose them a lot of money in their retirement?
The proposals that were put forward in October would have meant that many people would lose £1,000 a year, maybe more, but for some of the higher paid staff it could be tens of thousands of pounds a year.
And if you don't come to an agreement with the talks, will you take action again?
I think there is strong feeling amongst members and that people will be willing to take action, and I think the union will feel if there isn't any agreement and no sign that agreement is close, that it's necessary to call people to take action again.
Do you think that employers could tackle the £8 billion deficit?
I think that employers would be reluctant to put that amount of money into dealing with the deficit. They would rather spend the money on other things. Whether that is justified depends on your point of view. For example, here at Kent, the employers have put up a lot of new buildings in recent years, funded with the extra fee income that they have derived from the new funding structure, even if it's not as much as many people think that it is. And you could say that some of these buildings are necessary, but the heart of the university is the teaching and learning. The teaching and learning can't take place without the skilled professionals who are knowledgeable in their subject areas. We are at the heart of the university.
I thought it would be good to understand the situation from a lecturer's perspective, so today I'm meeting up with Dr. Charles de Volnier, who is a doctor of political and social thought.
You took action when UCU went on strike, didn't you?
Yes, so I took action this year. It was action short of a strike, marking boycott when the union called it. And last year I was on strike for a different reason. This year was about pensions. Last year was about pay. I think it's worth noting that we're only legally allowed to take action or go on strike about pay. So we can't have action outside of that. I mean, it's one of the things that we're restricted in doing.
And do you understand why students were angry about the marking boycott?
Yes, absolutely. I understand why they were angry, and in a way, we rely on on their anger. We rely on students' anger about not being taught if we go on strike, or their essays or various pieces of assessments not being assessed when we take action short of a strike. So we rely on that anger. We hope, however, that that anger can be channeled. And that we can convince students that we're in this together, and that the anger should be channeled at the senior management of the universities that are making working conditions worse.
I mean, it's gonna cost you a lot of money in your retirement, isn't it? Because it's not going to be it's not going to be based on your final salary now. It's going to be based on a career average. How will that affect?
Well, unfortunately for me, I'm already on the career average scheme, because in 2010 the employers struck the pensions, and they won, and so the new members who joined from 2011 onwards are already on a career average scheme. So I'm already on the bad deal. So there's already a two-track system in the pension scheme. But the point is that I don't want to lose more. We've already lost quite a bit in 2010 before I got a permanent job, and I don't want my pension to be hurt anymore. I think that we should fight to make our pensions better, to bring them back to the level of pre-2010.
Students have been really affected by this issue, and I feel it's important that we need to take into consideration their point of view. What do you think about the UCU and UUK conflict?
Well, personally, I haven't had much time to look into it. I mean, what I have seen, however, is the effect that it's had on so many students. And I mean, the thing that we've got to remember is that this is a nationwide thing. This situation is happening at a load of universities, and it's going to be affecting probably hundreds of thousands of students. When you measure in the amount of time that each student is spending on assignments that's just been wasted, that they could have been spending on other things, you know, other work, I think it's completely disgusting.
It's a very complex situation, what's happened. As a student personally, when I found out, I felt a lot of anger towards the lecturers, towards the unions, towards like anybody, because I wasn't going to get my work marked. Upon further research, looking into it, speaking to lecturers and speaking to different people, I now start to understand why they're doing it. I still don't like how they're using students as a weapon. I believe it's immoral, but that's my opinion to it, and I know why they're doing it. They're doing it for a reason, because we're the only people that they can use as a weapon.
The problem is just huge, and I can't see any way to resolve. I just can't find. All I think is that all the time, people at the top squeeze the people at the bottom, and that means that people from like UUK and the universities will squeeze their employees. The employers will squeeze the employees, the lecturers, the academics. They have some power to fight back, and that's right, I think they should. Just the one thing that will always happen is that students will always be affected.